Okay, y'all. I promised I would do another recording for the continuation of the credit repair process. And tonight I want to talk about FTC report. Now, why is this relevant to the whole, fixing your credit, deleting collections, deleting inquiries? And up top it says, identity theft report. you know what if you actually are the one that opened up this credit card, right? Like what exactly is identity theft? Well, when you look up some of these laws, like 15 USC 1681, you're going to understand that companies can't just sell your personal information for financial transactions. Okay, so when you have excuse me, when you have accounts on your credit report reporting as collections that were sold to a third party, these accounts are legally not supposed to be reporting. Um, Sometimes, they say like, well, in the fine print, you sign that if you ever, stop making payments, you opted to give you waived your rights to whatever, so they can now send your information to any company that's willing to buy it. No. Um, that's why we file an identity theft report. An identity theft report will pretty much um, alert the FTC, the Federal Trade Commissions, that your information is being used without your written consent. So FTC reports are very, very effective when it comes to removing negative information from your credit. Now, if I go any further, for some of you guys who are joining who might not know who I am, my name is Philip Gotti. I'm a credit repair specialist. I've helped many people fix their credit. I've used the different strategies like Metro 2 and consumer law. This is one of the ways that I use to fix people's credit, give people quick turnarounds. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much in this report right here, let me just move out of the way. When generating this report, you want to go to identitytheft.gov, fill out obviously your personal information up top, and address, phone number, email is optional. But once you get down to the part that says accounts affected by the crime, like the collections you have, for instance, this client had Community Capital Bank Alta. They had a collection reporting there, so you want to put that, name of the account as well as the account number, as much information as possible. That helps. And you want to, it gives you up to 4 accounts to include on this report. So if you have like 50 collections, I've never came across anyone with that many, but if you do have a lot, you might have to submit multiple reports. And at the bottom, it then gives you an option to include inquiries. So whenever you, for instance, go to a dealership and you're looking to get an auto loan, you're only supposed to run your credit. At least they're supposed to give you the list of lenders that you're going to use to, to fish for your auto loan. And for the most part, they're just taking your social security number and you're hitting submit, and it just goes to a pool of lenders. And next thing you know, you have so many inquiries on your credit report. Now, having so many inquiries on your credit report, people might not, think twice about that. But when you're now in a position to go get another loan or apply for another credit card, a bank would look at your credit report and they're gonna wonder, why do you have so many so many inquiries, but they're not attached to open accounts. And their rationalization is, okay, if you have so many inquiries not attached to an open account, you must be untrustworthy financially. So all these lenders looked into your credit report and they pretty much said like, no, we're not gonna extend you credit, we're not gonna give you a loan. So now you have these inquiries just sitting there. You don't want that on your profile. You want to use an FTC report, add as many inquiries as possible, and submit it to the um, mail it to your to wherever credit bureau is reporting it. So if it's on Experian, you want to create an FTC report. They have an online method for submission. So you could pretty much create this report by going on identitytheft.gov, upload this report, and give it a few days, and the inquiries should be deleted. If they're not deleted, you then want to give them a call just to like follow up and be like, yo, I have a bunch of inquiries on my credit report that I did not authorize. Well, that's a very powerful word to use in terms of these things. Like, you know you didn't give them the authority to have so many to use your credit. So when you submit that information to Experian, they're now looking at it, and they're doing their internal investigation. And for the most part, Experience turnaround is very good. They're going to go ahead and delete that stuff. Now, Equifax and TransUnion usually are quite difficult with this process, but at the end of the day, they're bound by law. They're governed by the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So for them to ignore you submitting a report like this opens them up into litigation, if you want to go that route, because they're essentially ignoring identity theft. You're saying like, hey, my identity was used without my consent, and typically they're supposed to do an internal investigation and you know come up with a conclusion like, okay, we figured out what was going on. You have so many inquiries, and they're not attached to any open accounts. So the theory is, it shouldn't be there. Otherwise, why are there so many? Um, Now, the FTC report is essentially saying like, I didn't authorize, such and such like Capital One Auto or GM Auto to use my personal information, and I'm requesting a complete deletion. So follow up with a call to these guys. You might have to call them a few times because for the most part, they have literally call centers in different countries. So when you're on the phone with these people, you're talking to people from India, people in Taiwan, people in South Africa. You're talking to people all over the world, and for the most part, there's a language barrier. So they use as an excuse to ignore your complaint. So they're like, "Hey, sorry, we can't really do anything." But don't take that don't take a no as an answer. What you want to do is ask to speak to a supervisor and talk to the supervisor and explain to them what's going on. If the supervisor is still acting oblivious, I wouldn't stress. I wouldn't, try to curse them out because that's not going to lead to anything. Getting combative is not really the solution for this type of thing. Calm heads usually, I don't know the phrase, but pretty much you can hang up, call back at a different time or a different day, and try to connect with someone else who might be more open to having a conversation. And they understand by law, once you submit this report, they have 4 days to block any information that you are requesting for them to remove. And by them ignoring that, that is them pretty much violating the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So I wanted to share this information because it's very, very valuable. I know a lot of people who are dealing with bad credit, and some of them, they do the free consultation call with me, and they kind of go MIA after a while, and then they come back later once perhaps they have some money and they're like ready to make that transition or transform their financial situation. So if you're someone like that, comment credit. You're gonna get a link in your DM, and you're gonna get my calendar, and you can book a call, and we can get more in-depth conversation about what's going on with yours. And honestly, I'm not even like one of those people that don't give out free information. I'll tell you exactly what you want to do if you're someone who's really strapped for cash. You can fix your own credit by yourself. You don't necessarily need to pay anyone to do this for you, but a lot of people are, overwhelmed with all this information. We have so much information around us about this topic, so it's like you kind of feel paralyzed. You don't even know like where to start. So you're pretty much like, throw your hands up and like, hey, I need somebody to, you know do it for me instead than me, doing all this research or watching this live and trying to take notes, trying to keep up with all this stuff. And then, after this, you might even feel like, dang, what did I miss? Am I ready to pick up the phone and call these credit bureaus and not, realize like it's really not a big deal? Like, just give them a call. They're really not. It's similar to like making a call to like your phone provider and being like, hey, uh, I need you guys to, do something. My phone isn't working. So it's pretty much similar to that with these companies. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. You need to realize that these companies are not the government. They are private companies. They are literally in the stock market. They're in the business to make profits, and they are using your personal information to make profits. Whenever you apply for anything, they sell that personal information to a bank. Whenever you mess up with your payments or, you know, hard times, you pretty much default on your credit card, or your car gets repossessed. Some people get foreclosures on your homes. These companies are doing their best to make sure they get this information on you so they could put it on your credit report. So whenever there's a transaction, they have this to submit to whoever, is trying to pull your credit, and there's a fee associated with that. But you can regain your power by pretty much removing all the negative information, anything that is harming you and preventing you from leveraging your credit. Because to be honest, in the world that we live in right now, I mean, think about the financial despair that's going on. A lot of people are barely like getting by, living paycheck to paycheck. I know people who are making six figures and they're like stressed out about, you know, their bills, and they're trying to figure out like how could they escape this rat race? How can they start their own business? Like they don't have a need. Oh, they're afraid to take the risk of starting a business and leaving their comfort zone because they know that, they could fail, and failure is very frightening to a lot of people. So credit is capital, and the more you understand this, the more you know how to fix your own credit, or the more you're able to leverage your personal credit to get business funding. You realize how much easier it is to just use other people's money, use the bank's money to start a business. You don't have to leave your job. You don't have to quit your job. You can still have a regular 9 to 5 job. You know what I'm saying? Have a regular 9 to 5 job and use business credit and start something on the side and be able to nourish that business so you can pass it down to your children. You can give it to somebody, or you can sell it. Perhaps, you start something profitable, you have a great idea, and you're able to use debt. You know what I'm saying? You're able to use business credit. I was able to get funding with banks that, I never thought I would be able to get such high limits on the credit business credit card side. But my credit was in such good shape that, they couldn't say no to me. So, you don't have to have that fear of starting a business, or somebody who perhaps doesn't want to work in the same company, and like you want to travel, you want to, explore other things, but do you have enough in savings? If you don't have enough in savings, then it's very scary to do so, because you're always calculating how much, you're spending. And once you realize like you're overspending, then it's like you have all this guilt, and now you're, just having this like negative perception of like your financial your financial situation. So with credit, it's like, with great credit, interest rates are really low. right? You're able to get a high limit, a very high limit with a very low interest rate. For instance, Chase Business Unlimited. I posted a video earlier about them. They give up to $75,000 on one credit card, and it's just one inquiry. So imagine having 75,000 on one credit card with a 0% APR for 12 months. Like, when you're someone who's trying to start a business, you can take that money and pretty much just like spend on whatever, maybe on marketing, on ads, right? Or hiring somebody else to help you run the business because you're preoccupied with other things in life. Okay. Supplies, technology, you need software, you need to set up automations for your business. So like all these things come with expenses, and it's so hard to do it with your own money. It's much easier when you're leveraging credit because you're pretty much playing a game of calculations. Like, you understand, like, okay, I have 75K, 0% APR. These are my goals. And the other crazy thing about business, and like setting up an LLC, is that an LLC is a separate entity from yourself. So it's almost as if, right? Not saying we want this to happen, right? But take watch the news. Just listen to some of the things that are happening with some of these like businessmen. They have like multiple bankruptcies for their business, but for some reason they're still able to like start a new company and be profitable in the new companies that they're creating while the other companies are being liquidated or whatnot. It's because structuring an LLC separates you from the business. So, in terms of credit, when you have a business credit card, it doesn't report to your personal credit profile. So, on your personal, you have a personal credit card. If you're maxing out that personal credit card, it's gonna drop your overall credit score. Like, it's gonna go down significantly. But on the business side, if you're spending aggressively and you're, using the money to grow your business, sorry, my daughter is rubbing something on me. If you're using your business credit card to grow your business and you're spending aggressively, and say you're spending over 50%, that utilization is not showing on your personal credit report. So you don't have that same worry as like, oh, my scores are going down. Because the understanding is business credit, the intention is to use it to grow your business. You got business credit to spend. You didn't get it to save and hold on to it. Personal credit is kind of like a game. It's like, okay, I have a bill here. Let me just pay this bill and then pay it off before the statement date. So it's like, it's just extra cash on the side. But with business credit, you are trying to spend aggressively to help you grow your business. And also, you get a lot of points, right? You get a lot of points when you spend all that money. You get travel rewards. You know, you can also get cash back for spending. So it's almost as if like you can use your business credit for personal expenses as well. But for the sake of this conversation, we're trying to leverage our personal credit, so we're building something for ourselves on the side and for our loved ones. So we're not we're not getting personal credit to go buy you know flashy clothes or flashy sneakers because we're trying to impress people. No, we're using it strategically because we're smart and we understand the world around us, and that the more financially savvy you are, the easier life is. So just something I wanted to share with y'all tonight. Like I said, um, comment credit on this live, so you'll be able to, connect with me, and we can have that conversation about your personal financial situation. And if you have collections or you have a bunch of inquiries, you can use this report right here to help you get rid of those very fast, and you're gonna see credit your credit score go up through the roof. So Glad, a few of you guys joined me tonight, and hopefully you got some wisdom from this. And, at least it starts a conversation where, like, you understand, okay, there is actually, a way out. You're not, in the mindset of, I have all this, terrible financial, circumstance, and it's pretty much like you have to wait for some, magical, some savior to come down and help and, fix everything. Like, no, you have the power to do this yourself. You don't need me to fix your credit. But, there's a lot of information out there, and sometimes it could be overwhelming. And if you're somebody who just has a lot on your plate and you're trying to outsource, I'm your guy. All right. So, like I said, common credit, and hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. Hope you had it. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and go Celtics. All right. Peace out.